Hi there, my friend. Brian King here. I want to share a few thoughts on forgiveness. This came up with a conversation I was having with my eldest son last night. He was really let down hard by a friend of his, that is his best friend, that he put a lot of emotional energy into that relationship for probably about 8 years. And when he finally realized that it was very toxic and wasn't going to serve him anymore, he cut the person off. He told this person why he was ending the friendship and then kind of let that person go, blocked them on Facebook and whatever he needed to do to create that boundary. But now there's a lot of pain as he looks back upon that, feeling betrayed, feeling let down, feeling disappointed, feeling very vulnerable. And if you're a parent, that our kiddos can really take disappointments like this extraordinarily hard if they have no point of reference for the fact that you can heal from these things. You can move forward. If it's the first time it's ever happened, to them, it's the end of the world because they don't know that things can get better. So he and I had a conversation about that. And we talked about forgiveness. And his mother and I divorced probably 9, close to 10 years ago because she had an affair and was unremorseful, was very cruel, and I was devastated. Now, fast forward, his mother and I are at different places in life. We've gotten past that event. We are very cordial, very friendly towards each other. A degree of respect has been gained back, but we no longer live in that moment. It's no longer that an event that robs us of joy or causes feelings of betrayal or anger or resentment. Now, was that easy to do? Hell no. It took a lot of work to get to that point where I could let it go, where I could forgive her, where I could be at peace with that event. And I explained to him that situation. He was very aware of what happened between his mother and I. And I made it clear to him that I forgave her. I let him know how much work it's going to be. He's going to have to feel the pain until he doesn't feel it anymore. But that he owes it to himself to do the work. And a few tips that I kind of gave him. These are kind of random thoughts I threw together for this video. When you think of what forgiveness is, I asked for Google, what does it mean to forgive? And of course, there was not one stock definition. There's the biblical understanding, there's the Buddhist understanding, there's the psychological understanding, and then maybe there's some overall secular understanding or Oprah's understanding, whoever's it is. But when I thought about what's a concrete way you can think about what it means to forgive? And I thought, well, let's break the word down and think of it in terms of giving yourself permission to move forward. Forgive. So you're giving to your, and I'm letting go of this past pain because I deserve to move forward. I deserve to get past it and move beyond it. And one thing that's really, really important is to also believe that forgiveness is possible. How many people say, I'll never forgive you when you're hurt? I can never forgive you for what you did. Well, when you make a declaration like that, you've pretty much written off forgiveness as an option. So it's important to believe that it is possible. Doesn't mean you have to know how you're going to do it. Just know that it's available to you. It makes it easier to kind of weather that storm of that initial pain that you're feeling. Because you know that feeling that pain is part of the process of moving towards that moment when you can forgive and begin to move forward. And as I've kind of alluded to a couple times, it's important to believe that there are better things ahead. That these times in our life are temporary. They pass. There's a saying that's kind of cliche, this too shall pass, because it does. Unless, of course, you insist that forgiveness is not possible, you want to hang on to it, you want to feel righteous about your pain, that you deserve to hurt, which, if you've been hurt, it's understandable to hurt. But to condemn yourself to feeling that pain for the rest of your life doesn't make sense. So remember that there are always better things ahead. How do you know? Well, look at your life. Is there any one thing, any bad moment or pain that you've had that is still there? I don't think that everything that negative that's ever hurt you has been hanging on all this time and just accumulating. Things have come and gone. So remember that there are better things ahead. Another reason to forgive is because you deserve the pleasure of being able to trust again. Some advice that I was given, when my ex and I first split up, I was talking to a friend. I said, how am I going to ever trust somebody again? And he said, point blank, because you have to. You have to trust or you're never going to feel the pleasure of being connected to another human being ever again. And yeah, there's a lot of risk in that. But there's also a lot of gain in that. And here's another thing not everybody will end up being worthy of your trust. But does that mean you stop trusting everybody? Or do you just keep those people at arm's length or kick them out of your life entirely? But you and I both know darn well there are plenty of people that have earned your trust, are worth trusting, and make you feel more complete as a person because you're in a relationship with them, because you can be vulnerable. Little metaphor I came up with as to why it's important to be able to trust other people when other people have violated that trust. You don't punish the cat for something the dog did. Okay? You don't say to the cat, I can never trust you again. I have to keep you in your cage all day long because the last time I let the dog out, he tore up the sofa. So because one animal messes up, you're not going to trust him ever again. That's like I hate dogs because a dog once bit me. It's absurd logic, right? It's not logic at all. It's fear. It's reactivity. I'm married now for going on 9 years. And a big part of the forgiveness that I needed to find between my ex and I was so that I could be fully emotionally available to my wife, Kathy. And without having gone through that healing, I would still be stuck in the past. I would still have all these fearful thoughts come up. What if she does this? What if she does that? What if it turns out I can't trust her? And that has nothing to do with her, the person I'm married to. It has everything to do with the healing I have not done with my past relationship. So forgiveness was about freeing myself emotionally to be able to trust and be fully committed emotionally to the woman I'm married to today. So whether it's a friend that you are letting go of, whether it's a partner, whether it's a parent, whether it's, you're afraid of getting another job in the same sector because your last boss was a jerk and you don't want to work for another jerk, so you're afraid to apply for new jobs. There's all different kinds of ways this shows up for you. But unless you're able to give yourself permission to move forward, finish the past hurt so you can give yourself fully to the next opportunity where things can get better, unless you're able to do that, you will be forever stuck in that pain. And you deserve better. One last thought. I know sometimes people will say to you, and it sounds minimizing, that, hey, you think the first one is that I've gone through this. But the way I think about it, and the way I want to suggest to you, is that you aren't alone in the suffering of this event. People let each other down in a variety of ways. We are not perfect as people. I'm as far from it as you get. And We screw up, and sometimes we screw up big, especially when we are in pain ourselves. Because all we can see is our own hurt, our own unmet needs, and we can behave extremely selfishly when we feel that we are empty inside, that we are lacking somehow. It's like stealing the water from somebody else because you're so dying of thirst. All you're thinking about is how much you need to drink. And you end up doing hurtful things. Because you're not alone in that suffering, you're also not alone in the fact that you too have likely hurt others. And not because you're a mean person, because you are hurting. So if you would like forgiveness for yourself in those moments, you really need to be prepared to extend it as well. Because unless we give each other another chance to improve ourselves when we screw up, how are we ever going to have a chance to have new relationships, better relationships? And the last part of this thought is, there's enough happiness in the world to go around for all of us. Because it can be easy to think very scarcity-minded when you feel let down or betrayed by somebody. You can say, well, you have a belief that, well, there's only one person that you can love your entire life. There's only the one, whether it be a best friend or a significant other, and you believe there isn't possibly another person out there that you can be as happy with. Not true. There's a lot of variety in this world. There's a lot of people in this world. And there are many different ways to get our needs met. I never expected to remarry. I thought that once the first marriage was done, I obviously didn't know what the hell I was doing. I obviously wasn't going to be worthy of somebody else. Man, was I wrong, and I'm glad I was wrong. Because I'm extraordinarily happy now with the woman I'm with. And it has so much to do with the fact that I realized that the things that I've been suggesting here, forgiveness is possible. There are better things ahead. There's a lot of happiness out there for everyone. It's not a scarce resource. There isn't only so many slices of the pizza where other people get more happiness than you are allowed. Nonsense. There's enough for everyone. It's just a matter of realizing that the happiness is there. It is yours for the taking once you can make peace with your pain. I just wanted to put it out there for some conversation. Hopefully something that will help you. If you want to talk about this further, go ahead and make some comments or shoot me off a message. I'm always happy to talk to you. I'm always happy to help. That's why I'm here. And thanks for watching. I really appreciate your time. This has been Brian, and we'll talk again soon.